Have you ever been told that being good guarantees peace, that kindness will always be rewarded, and strong morals will lead you to greatness? We are taught this from a young age, a beautiful lie to make the world seem less harsh. But what if this was all a dangerous illusion? The great thinker, Machiavelli, saw through it. He uncovered a dark, uncomfortable truth that most of us refuse to face. Morality has a steep price, and those who pay it often lose everything. This cost isn't paid in money or blood. It's paid in missed opportunities, in surrendered power, in respect that evaporates because your virtue is seen as weakness. We're taught to see the world in black and white, good versus evil. But Machiavelli knew that life is not built on absolutes. It's built on results. Think about it. History doesn't remember the kindest people. It remembers the winners, the figures who reshaped empires and changed the course of humanity were the ones who followed every single rule. They were the ones who knew exactly when to break them. Morality is a comfort for the powerless, but strategy is what empowers the strong. The person who refuses to bend their morals in a corrupt world will eventually be broken by someone who has none. The one who demands fairness in an inherently unfair game will die filled with disappointment. Machiavelli never advocated for cruelty for its own sake. He advised leaders to be decisive, even ruthless, when mercy would lead to their own destruction. Because sometimes what we call mercy is just fear in disguise. When you're afraid to act, afraid to offend, afraid to take what you rightfully deserve, you hide behind the mask of being a good person. You tell yourself you're virtuous, but what you really are is hesitant. The world doesn't reward the good. It rewards the effective, the decisive, the unshakable. You can be a good person, but you must also be respected, even feared. You can be fair, but you must also be firm. Morality without the power to back it up is just a pretty decoration on the tomb of the defeated. Every moral choice you make casts a shadow. Every act of kindness creates an opening for someone else to exploit. When you give without setting boundaries, people stop valuing your generosity. When you forgive without any consequence, people stop fearing your anger. When you speak the hard truth to those who thrive on lies, they won't thank you for your honesty. They will try to destroy you for exposing them. Here's the secret Machiavelli understood. The moral man is only admired after he's gone. While he's alive, he's used, mocked, and manipulated by those who only pretend to share his values. The calculating individual, however, if disciplined and intelligent, commands respect even from his enemies. Why? Because in the real world, results matter far more than moral purity. You can't feed a nation with honesty alone. You can't rule an empire with just compassion. The greatest leaders in history understood this. They wore morality like a costume essential for public appearances, but quickly discarded in private. The public needs to believe in your virtue, even if your actions are driven by cold, hard necessity. That is the true cost of power. To appear righteous while doing what must be done, to play the part of a saint while thinking like a serpent. Those who fail to grasp this simple rule fall, and they fall hard. The naive king who trusts his rivals, the kind ruler who spares his sworn enemies, the honest adviser who reveals too much at the wrong time. Their stories all end the same way, with betrayal, humiliation, and bitter regret. The world will feed you stories about how truth and goodness always prevail in the end. But history tells a very different story. History is written by those who were ruthless enough to survive. The moral man may die with peace in his heart, but his name is forgotten. The ruthless one, however, lives on through the legacy of his power, his name carved into the very bones of history. Machiavelli didn't despise morality. He simply understood its limitations. He saw it as a tool to be used wisely, but never to become your master. To survive in a world of wolves, you must learn to be both the shepherd and the beast. You must know when to show mercy and recognize when mercy is a fatal mistake. The truth is, morality isn't fixed. It bends under pressure. It shifts depending on who holds power. An act called evil when done by the weak is called strategy when executed by the strong. The powerful redefine what is right and just with every victory they achieve. And the people obey because most prefer comfortable lies to the harsh realities of the world. The cost of morality is a heavy chain. It keeps you tied to ideals that your enemies will happily exploit. You tell yourself you're being noble, while they are quietly building empires. You practice humility, while they take everything you were too good to claim for yourself. The one who not only survives, but thrives, learns to move in the shadows, to smile through deceit, and to act with lethal precision, while maintaining an appearance of virtue. True strength isn't being immoral. It's the ability to control your morality, to use it when it serves you, and to set it aside when it hinders you. You can't change the nature of the world, but you can learn its rules. Be honest when honesty builds alliances. Be kind when kindness fosters loyalty. And be ruthless when it's necessary to protect what is yours. That cold, calculated balance is what Machiavelli called wisdom. The moral fool believes that being good is a shield that guarantees safety. The wise person knows that safety comes from control, not kindness. So every time you choose morality over necessity, ask yourself, who really benefits from this choice? Are you protecting your integrity, or are you just avoiding a difficult, uncomfortable decision? Are you being kind, or are you just being afraid? The world respects the person who can be both merciful and merciless, who chooses to be good, not as a default habit, but as a deliberate strategy. When your morality becomes a prison, you must find the courage to break free. When your goodness becomes a weakness, you must be prepared to overcome it. And when your conscience prevents you from doing what is necessary for survival, you must learn to silence it. That is the secret truth. Machiavelli didn't write for the innocent. He wrote for those who are awake, for those who understand that the path to greatness is rarely clean. You will get your hands dirty. You will be misunderstood. You will walk a lonely path. But in the end, you will be standing where others fell, precisely because you were willing to do what they were not. Morality is a luxury for those already protected by power. For the rest of us, it is a choice, a dangerous and often expensive choice. The cost of morality is everything you could have become if you were so afraid of being judged. So when the world calls you cold, remember it's because you stopped living for their approval and started living for results. When they call you heartless, remember it's because you stopped giving your heart to those who would only break it. And when they call you immoral, remember it's because you've chosen strength over illusion. The weak need to appear good. The strong only need to win. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you do not miss our next dive into the truths that shape our world. See you next time. Power doesn't bow to morality. It bends it. It twists it. It uses it like a mask to hide its true intentions. Machiavelli understood this with perfect clarity. He saw that the moral person fights with their conscience, while the powerful person fights for results. The moral person hesitates, wondering, is what I'm doing right? The powerful person acts first, and then convinces the world that what they did was right all along. That's the difference between weakness and strategy. The cost of morality is hesitation, and hesitation has destroyed kings, rulers, and dreamers alike. Think about it. When you stop to question what's fair, someone else seizes what you've earned. When you wait for the perfect moment, someone less deserving acts first. When you seek approval before making a crucial decision, you've already handed over control. Morality sounds noble, doesn't it? But it can be a cage. It can make you soft in a world that rewards the ruthless. It can turn your strength into guilt and your vision into doubt. The world teaches you to be selfless, but then it crushes those who are. It's a paradox. The more you give, the more is taken from you. The more you forgive, the more you are betrayed. The moral person lives for peace, but the world is built on conflict. And here's the harsh truth. Peace belongs to those who conquer chaos first. Only after the victory is won can you afford the luxury of being good. The moral person tries to please everyone, but in doing so, they please no one. They bend their values for the comfort of others and end up betrayed by the very people they tried to protect. People don't admire endless kindness. They learn to exploit it. They don't respect honesty unless it benefits them directly. They will praise your goodness to your face while secretly plotting how to use it against you. This is the weakness Machiavelli warned us about. He said that leaders must learn asterisk, not asterisk, to be good, or at least not always good. Why? Because goodness, in excess, destroys authority. To survive among wolves, you simply cannot be a lamb. And yet, you can't be a wolf all the time, either. The secret is to be both gentle when it serves you and ruthless when it protects you. The greatest power lies in that balance. The moral fool lives by ideals that ignore reality. The Machiavellian, however, lives by understanding human nature as it truly is: selfish, emotional, and unstable. They don't expect people to be loyal or honest. They expect them to serve their own interests. And that expectation is a shield, because when betrayal inevitably comes, They don't cry, they simply adjust their strategy. They were already prepared for it. The moral person, on the other hand, is shattered by betrayal. They believed in others too deeply. They gave too much of themselves. They forgot that the world doesn't reward sincerity, rewards control. The true cost of absolute morality is blindness. It makes you believe the world should be as it ought to be, instead of seeing it for what it is. You can waste years expecting fairness from the unfair, honesty from the deceitful, and loyalty from the selfish. And when reality shatters those ideals, you're left with nothing but regret. Machiavelli's truth is simple. Morality is a tool, not a master. Use it to build trust, to calm the masses, to appear virtuous, but never, ever let it control you. Those who rule must know when to lie, when to manipulate, and when to act without a moment's hesitation. This isn't about cruelty. It's about calculations. The moral person says, I would never do that. The wise person says, I will do what I must. The moral person prays for justice. The wise person creates it. The moral person asks for permission. The wise person seizes the opportunity before it vanishes. In a world of constant manipulation, those who cling to purity are devoured. They're too honest for politics, too kind for business, too forgiving for power. The world doesn't break them all at once. It drains them slowly until the fire that made them special is gone. And by the time they finally learn to protect themselves, it's often too late. Power has already passed them by. Morality has its place, but not on the battlefield, not in the court of kings, and not in the race for survival. The ones who win are those who understand timing. They know there are moments when mercy is suicide, and moments when cruelty is salvation. The fool cannot tell the difference. The wise one can. That is the secret art of ruling, the ability to act against your own nature when necessary, to kill pity when it endangers you, to silence compassion when it weakens you, to act with cold precision when emotion would lead to ruin. Those who master this aren't evil, they're realists. Because in the end, what is the value of goodness if it cannot defend itself? What is the worth of compassion if it allows evil to thrive? The moral person prays for change. The powerful person becomes the change. The moral person waits for justice. The powerful person enforces it. Morality is often just a story told by the winners to justify what they did to get there. After all, no ruler ever calls himself cruel only. His enemies do. No conqueror admits his sins only. History forgives them. Morality is rewritten by victory. Machiavelli's genius was in knowing that to lead, you must play both sides. Maintain the appearance of virtue with the heart of a strategist. Speak of peace while planning for war. Promise fairness while preparing to enforce fear. Show kindness when it strengthens loyalty, and display cruelty when it prevents rebellion. Because both are tools, then the ruler who knows when to use each will never fall. The cost of pure morality is that it makes you predictable. People know how to use your goodness against you. They know you'll forgive. They know you'll hesitate. They know you'll sacrifice yourself for others. And in the game of power, predictability is death. The one who wins is the one who can surprise, who can act beyond expectation. So, be moral when it suits you, but be dangerous when it's required. That is the balance of survival. The moral person might die with dignity, but the Machiavellian lives with purpose. One is remembered as good, the other is remembered as great. So the question is, would you rather be pure or powerful? The world rarely allows you to be both. The cost of morality is the throne you could have sat on, the empire you could have built, the respect you could have commanded, if only you were brave enough to let go of the illusion that good always wins. Goodness without strength is emptiness. Strength without purpose is chaos. But strength guided by intelligence, that is mastery. That is what Machiavelli tried to teach the world, to be human, but above all, to be aware. To wear morality like armor when needed, but never let it pierce your heart. Because once you understand that morality is a choice, not a chain, you become untouchable. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, hit that subscribe button and join us for more insights into the true nature of power. See you in the next one. Have you ever felt like you're playing a game where everyone else knows the rules except you? You try to be good, honest, and kind, but somehow you keep ending up on the losing side. You might have been told that morality is the highest virtue, a guiding light. But what if I told you that morality is the sweetest poison ever given to mankind? It tastes pure. It sounds noble, but slowly it weakens your instincts and blinds you to how the world truly works. The philosopher Machiavelli understood this with terrifying clarity. He saw that morality is often a tool used by the powerful to keep others obedient. They teach the masses to be humble, so they never rise up. They preach forgiveness to the weak, so they never fight back. They tell the naive to stay honest, so they can be easily controlled. But here's the catch. The powerful themselves don't follow these rules. They just expect you to. That is the first hard truth behind morality. It wasn't created to protect you. It was created to contain you. The real cost isn't just what you lose by being good. It's what you never realize you could have been. You spend your life believing that kindness will automatically attract loyalty, that honesty will earn you respect. But in the real world, kindness without strength attracts parasites. Honesty without power invites manipulation, and loyalty without boundaries. That's a breeding ground for betrayal. Machiavelli knew that for those in power, morality is a performance, not a reality. A ruler must appear, moral, but not necessarily be moral. Why? Because people don't see your heart. They see your actions, your public image. To survive among wolves, you have to learn to wear the sheep's skin while keeping the wolf's teeth hidden. The strictly moral person wears their heart on their sleeve, and then wonders why they're always getting hurt. The strategic Machiavellian mind wraps their heart in armor, and is surprised when people trust their strong exterior. It's a paradox. People believe in appearances, not the essence of who you are. This is why the moral person often struggles while the cunning one thrives. Think about it. The one who knows how to appear, good, can get away with almost anything. while the one who genuinely tries to be good is often torn down by those who are only acting the part. Morality can also create an illusion of superiority, and illusions are incredibly easy to manipulate. The most righteous people are often the most predictable. They tell you exactly what they will not do, and in doing so, they hand you their weakness on a silver platter. "I would never lie," they declare, and just like that, you know how to trap them in a corner. "I would never betray a friend," they say, and now you know how to make them hesitate when a tough choice is needed. The person who limits themselves with rigid morality has already surrendered the freedom to adapt. And adaptability, as Machiavelli saw it, is the highest form of intelligence. The survivor isn't the most moral, but the most flexible. The one who can change their approach as the situation demands will always have an edge over those who cling to fixed virtues, no matter the cost. Morality represents stability, but stability shatters in the face of chaos. In the end, the cost of absolute morality can be survival itself. It's easy to be moral when life is comfortable, when you're safe, well-fed, and admired. But what happens when survival forces a choice between your comfort and someone else's, between your honesty and your advantage, between keeping the peace and asserting your dominance? That's the moment your true nature is revealed. Most people will choose to stay moral and quietly fade away. But a select few will choose to be strategic and live powerfully. Machiavelli never said to abandon morality completely. He advised us to control it. Use it like a mask when your audience demands virtue, but be ready to take it off when it becomes a burden. The truly wise wear their morality loosely. They bend it, shape it, and sometimes they discard it when necessary. They understand a fundamental truth. In a world built on layers of deception, the purely honest person isn't a saint they're prey. Those who understand power know that morality is theater. It's the beautiful mask that hides cold, hard necessity. Every great empire in history rose under a banner of virtue and justice. But behind every noble speech about honor was a war fought for control. Behind every promise of peace was a calculated move for dominance. Even today, the people who rule the world don't do so because they are the kindest. They rule because they are the most disciplined in hiding their ambition behind moral language. Machiavelli's lesson was this: if you must deceive, do it with grace. If you must control, do it with charm. If you must tear something down, do it with quiet precision. The world forgives cunning when it looks elegant. It forgives ruthlessness when it's wrapped in a noble purpose. The leader who hides their true intentions behind inspiring words will be loved even while they are conquering. The purely moral person, too honest to disguise their actions, will be despised even while they are losing. Morality and power have always been enemies pretending to be allies. The more moral you are, the more predictable you become. The more predictable you are, the easier you are to control. This is why those who rise to true positions of strength learn to act moral only when it serves them. Not because they lack ethics, but because they understand context. They know there are times when mercy is suicide. There are moments when forgiveness is a betrayal, betrayal of yourself. They recognize that some people will interpret your kindness as permission to use you. This is when you must remember Machiavelli's famous law. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. This isn't about being cruel. It's because fear protects you when love fails. Love is fragile. It's conditional. It's fleeting. But fear endures. Fear keeps people honest when their own morality doesn't. The cost of blind morality is forgetting this truth. It makes you believe that everyone thinks like you do. You think in terms of fairness. They think in terms of advantage. You think in terms of loyalty. They think in terms of opportunity. You think in terms of peace. They think in terms of control. And when your moral compass tells you to turn the other cheek, they will strike again, even harder this time, because they know you won't retaliate. They win, and you're left wondering why being virtuous feels so empty. Morality without strength is just submission. But strength without any morality is chaos. The true Machiavellian walks the fine line between the two: moral when it's useful, ruthless when it's required. This person knows when to speak and when to stay silent, when to forgive and when to walk away. They understand that sometimes the kindest act is to be cold, because coldness forces others to respect your boundaries. They understand that sometimes the truth must be hidden, because people often destroy what they don't understand. They know that being feared doesn't mean being cruel. It means being untouchable. Morality teaches you to protect others. Machiavelli teaches you to protect yourself first, because if you fall, you can't protect anyone. The moral person fights to be liked. The Machiavellian fights to be remembered. And history remembers those who didn't just follow the rules, remembers the ones who rewrote them. The cost of morality is obedience. The reward of realism is freedom. So you have to choose which one you value more: the comfort of being good or the power of being real. Thank you for watching. If this video made you think, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell for more content that challenges the way you see the world. See you in the next one. Have you ever noticed how moral ideals, as beautiful as they sound, often hide a dangerous trap? Morality teaches you to see the world in black and white, right and wrong. But the real world, the one we actually live in, operates on a different axis: strength and weakness. It tells you to forgive your enemies, but your enemies rarely forget. It preaches honesty, but in a world full of liars, honesty can be a form of self-destruction. It urges you to be kind, but kindness without a spine, without the power to defend yourself, just becomes a cage. The brilliant and often misunderstood thinker, Machiavelli, saw this centuries ago. He understood a chilling truth. Morality isn't the fundamental law of the universe. It's the story the powerful tell the weak to keep them in line, to ensure they never question the system. Think about it. Kings, priests, politicians, they built their empires not just on armies, but on words. They taught the masses to obey, to see their suffering as a virtue, and to find a strange comfort in their own powerlessness. And they wrapped it all up and called it morality. But what's the real price of blindly following this code? It's the death of your own instinct. You stop acting from a place of clarity and awareness, and instead, you act from guilt, from the fear of being judged. You stifle your ambition, you silence your own desires, and you pat yourself on the back, calling it humility. But humility without balance isn't a virtue. It's a form of self-enslavement. Morality might make you a good person in the eyes of others, but it will never, on its own, make you a powerful one. And in this world, goodness without power is just a tragedy waiting to happen. Machiavelli was a realist. He believed the world respects only two things: results and perception. People will forgive almost anything if you succeed, and they will condemn almost anything if you fail. Your moral purity won't protect you from this harsh, lonely power will. It's the winners who get to write the moral code. The victors are remembered as righteous, while the defeated are branded as evil. History isn't written by moral men. It's written by strategic ones. The person who truly understands this learns to use morality as a shield, not as a chain. They appear just virtuous enough to earn trust, but they never let that virtue blind them to the raw realities of survival. You see, morality tells you to patiently wait for the world to be fair. Machiavelli tells you to go out and create your own fairness. This idea of natural justice is a comforting myth designed to pacify the powerless. In human affairs, there is no cosmic fairness. There's only a balance of power, enforced by strength. The moral man begs the world to be fair. The Machiavellian shapes the world with their will to make it fair for themselves. Look at every great leader in history, from Caesar to Napoleon. They spoke of virtue in public, but acted with cold, hard calculation in private. Even the saints who inspired millions had a ruthless discipline beneath their compassion. The mask of morality often hides a brilliant strategy. The deeper you look, the more you realize that morality without intelligence is just noise. People cling to these codes because it gives them an identity. It tells them who they are, what's good, and what's evil. It saves them from the difficult task of thinking deeply about the messy, chaotic nature of life. But Machiavelli invites you into that chaos. He teaches that real control doesn't come from clinging to simplistic moral rules, but from understanding complexity. There's no absolute good or evil, only cause and consequence. An act that seems cruel today might save 1,000 lives tomorrow. An act that seems kind today might lead to disaster down the road. Morality can't see that far ahead, but strategy can. The truly wise are not moral or immoral. They are amoral. They see beyond the labels. They understand that human nature is fundamentally driven by self-interest, fragility, and the instinct for survival. To expect pure, selfless goodness from people is like expecting a lion to start eating grass. It's a beautiful thought, but it goes against nature. This is why a leader cannot be bound by the same moral rules as the people they lead. The ruler must be both a lion and a fox, strong enough to crush threats and clever enough to sidestep traps. Conventional morality tells you to choose one. Machiavelli tells you to be both. The price of morality is often paid in silence. It's paid every time you bite your tongue to avoid offending someone, every time you accept less than you deserve to appear humble, every time you watch an injustice happen and stay quiet because you want to be seen as a good person. But morality without courage is just cowardice dressed up as virtue. People often hide their fear behind moral language. They say, "I'm being patient," when they're actually afraid to take action. They say, "I forgive them," when they're simply too weak to confront the person who wronged them. They say, "I don't care about power," when the truth is, they're just powerless. Machiavelli stripped away these illusions. He showed that morality is often just weakness disguised as wisdom. He didn't hate morality itself. He hated blindness. He wanted people to see that virtue means nothing if you don't have the strength to defend it. He believed in leaders who were just, but not naive, merciful, but not defenseless. In his view, goodness must serve power, not replace it. Because a good person with no power can't even protect their own goodness. Just ask yourself, how many times have you done the right thing, only to be betrayed? How many times have you been completely honest, only to be punished for it? How many times have you shown mercy, and had that mercy taken for weakness and exploited? That is the price of a morality that isn't balanced by strength. The world doesn't reward purity. It rewards dominance that is cleverly disguised as righteousness. The great tragedy is that moral people often end up serving those who are immoral but strategic. They are the ones who build the temples that kings then use to control the masses. They are the loyal employees of corporations that preach ethics while exploiting their workers. They vote for the leaders who speak of virtue but hunger only for control. The Machiavellian sees this game for what it is and refuses to be a pawn. They learn to play morality like a musical instrument with precision, control, and always to their own advantage. Your morality should be your servant, never your master. Let it guide your choices, but never let it imprison them. Be moral when it strengthens your reputation, when it helps you build alliances, when it protects your inner peace. But never, ever be moral when it means sacrificing your own survival or your power to effect change. There will come a time when you must choose between being loved and being respected. Choose respect. There will come a time when you must choose between being right and being effective. Choose effectiveness. And there will come a time when you must choose between your personal comfort and your lasting legacy. Choose legacy. Because the moral man seeks comfort in his goodness, but the Machiavellian finds meaning in their influence. And influence lasts far longer than virtue ever could. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next video. See you then.